Hello and welcome to playing the very first game of the Alamein set, which is the brand new release from Flames of War for their version 4 of the rules. So what I did, I've played Flames of War, I have a number of Flames of War armies, but I decided just to use the contents of the box. So I put together the tank models. I have before me, I have one Grant here. Okay, I've got one Grant. I have got two Crusaders. Oops. Yeah, I got two Crusaders. They are both armed with 6-pounder tank guns. I have a Panzer IV. I believe the British would call them the Mark IV. And it has the long 75mm barrel on it. And I have a Panzer III that is up-armored with the long 50mm gun. So I'm going to use these cards and just run through the way that the turns are going. Now, they did modify this in that you don't have things like the last unit standing and whatnot. There's no assault. The tanks are not using their machine guns. Tanks can't assault tanks. That's why we don't have an assault force. Okay, so for this game, the German player has the first turn. Okay, so for our turn 1, we have our start, our movement, and our shooting. Then we go back to start with the Allies' turn, or in this case, the British. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to move my Panzer III. You know, it says here my tactical is 10 inches, so that means that I can move 10 inches and I can still shoot. Now, the question comes down to, what's the smart way to do this? Well, some people, they use a tape measure. I use something called a flexible ruler. I find that works out pretty well. And you want to measure it from the beginning here, where the tank is, roughly to where the 10 inches go for the tank. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take the chance, and I'm going to move the tank over to here. So I'm going to move the tank here, so I have a chance to shoot at the Crusader that's there. The other tank that I have is the Panzer IV. Now, the Panzer IV also has a tactical movement of 10 inches. Perhaps what I ought to do is move out. Oh, am I going to be able to take a shot? Well, let's see. Maybe. I don't know. That's a tough thing. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to move the Panzer IV over to here. And that's going to conclude the movement that I have for the German tanks. Now we got to talk about shooting. So for shooting, you have to check to see if you in fact have a line of sight, which I'm thinking the Panzer IV has a line of sight to the Crusader. The Panzer III has a line of sight to the Crusader. So what does that mean for us? Well, in order to fire on the Crusader, we have to look and see for the Panzer III, okay, it moved, so it's got a rate of fire of 1, so it rolls 1 dice, and I'm going to use the dice from the base set. Okay, now what do I need to hit? Well, in this case here, with the Crusader, it is hit on aggressive, a 3+. So essentially, I need a 3+ to hit. I roll 3+. I end up hitting. Now, do I do the damage? Well, let's see. The Panzer III has an anti-tank of 9. The Crusader is hit on the front armor, because if you draw a line across the front of the Crusader, okay, you can see that it's not hitting the side. And some people would say, but wait a minute, the projectile is actually hitting the side of the tank. Right, but it is at a kind of an angle that it's not going to penetrate what it would do if it was hitting, you know, directly head on at a 90-degree angle. It doesn't work that way. So in this case here, the Crusader front, this is a Crusader III, so it has a front of 4. So, for the Brits, we will roll this, again, from the basic set. We need to roll high, and we got a 4, plus 4, that's 8. Nope, the shot penetrated. So now it's a question of, does the Panzer III score the final thing? He needs a firepower of 4. No, he does not. The firepower failed, and now you don't have a destroyed. You do not have a destroyed tank. You have a bailed out tank, so we're going to bail him out. Now we also have the Mark IV over here, who also has a 75 millimeter gun. And at this point, the range, yeah, it's within 16 inches, so he doesn't get the +1 for the extra long range. Let's see, he has a rate of 1 because he's moving, but an anti-tank of 10. This is tough. So let's see. 5 definitely hits. Let's see if the Crusader bounces it off. It needs to roll a 6. Oh, yes, he does. So what does that mean? The anti-tank value of the Crusader is equal to the anti-tank value of the Panzer IV's long 75 gun. Now, there's no chance of a bailout of a kill, but the Panzer might be able to cause a second bailout, which would force this Crusader to take a bailout, take a motivation test. So let's see. The firepower on the long 75 is a 3+. It is a bail. Firepower is a 3+, and yeah, no, failed. It is not a bail because he has to succeed in the firepower roll. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the first turn for the Germans. Now we go to the British first turn, and we're at the start, so we have a chance to remount. Okay, and at this point here for the Crusader, they're confident they need a 4+ to remount. Is totally remounting. I wouldn't blame him. I would do the same thing. Okay. Hey, it's a game, right? So, what am I going to do? I need to do some movement. And at this point here, my Crusader, this one is not going to move. I'm going to keep it there. I'm turning the turret. That doesn't count as movement, per se. I am going to take this Crusader here, and I've got 10 inches to move, so I'm going to move him out to here, where I can also get a shot at the Mark IV. Now, what do I do with the Grant? The Grant also has got 10 inches. So what we're going to do, we're going to move the Grant up to the 6 inches to the wall here, and we're going to see if it will cross. What is the crossing roll on this Grant? It is, in fact, ladies and gentlemen, I checked the data card, it's a 4+. Ooh. Let's see. Yes, it crosses. So I still got about 4 more inches of movement, but I'm not going to go that far. I'm just going to stay in the nice alleyway, so I get a couple of side shots on him. Movement is over. So let's see what's going on here. So for this Crusader, it gets to roll 2 dice. The rate of fire of 2 for the 6-pounder because it didn't move. And it is going up against this German Mark III. So we're going to go with it. Well, yeah, here's the $64 question. What would be the smarter thing to do? Take the 2 shots on the Panzer IV or take the 2 shots on the Panzer III? Let's see. If I were to go down here, can I see the Panzer IV? I can, in fact, see the Panzer IV. I'm going to take the 2 shots at the Panzer IV. I'm going to take a risk on this. Now, is it beyond 16? No, it won't be, because this is a 12-inch ruler. Okay, so I know that. 2 shots on the Mark IV, and it gets hit on 4 pluses. Ooh, a 2 and a 2. Oh, missed. Okay, this last Crusader here will take a shot at the Mark IV, also needing a 4. It hit, Okay, so now let's look at the Panzer IV front armor. It is a 5 to the Crusaders' 9. Okay, so the Germans need to roll. And they rolled a 5 plus 4, 9. That's equal to the anti-tank rate. So now the Crusader has to roll to see if they could possibly bail out the Panzer IV, which probably would be a good thing. It needs a 4 up. Yes! Okay, it's bailed out, folks. So we have one bailed out Panzer. Now remember, the idea about bailout, it doesn't necessarily mean that the guys are abandoned the vehicle. It is just a general term to describe that the tank can't function the right way. The crew could be stunned. They could be finding out something got whacked inside the tank. There's a number of things that could explain it. But on to gaming. Okay, now here's the decision. I have got the Grant, okay, forward firing. It's got a 75, and it is still going to be, ooh, is it a front shot? Yep, it is still a front shot, okay? Because you have to draw that imaginary line across here in order to show, and the Grant is definitely firing a front shot. So, let's go with it. It's got one dice. Let's see what happens. It is going to need, on the Mark III, the Panzer III, it's going to need a 4 up. It hits. Okay. It's a frontal shot. The front armor of the Panzer III that is up armored is a 6. And they rolled a 1 for a 7. The Grant beats out the 9, so now the Grant has penetrated. The Grant has a firepower of 3. And makes it. So we have now taken out our first tank of the game. The Panzer III is out. We'll just go ahead and remove the turret. Okay, and I'm only using the components of what's in the box. Otherwise, I have some, cool flame markers and all that. But again, the whole point is to see what you can do with this kit for the fun of it. All right, now, you do have the 37 millimeter. I'm going to stop there. I'm going to end the turn. So now we're going to shift to German turn 2. And in German turn 2, the first thing the Germans need to do is to get back into that tank. Unbail out, if you will. And what do they do that? Well, here's the thing. They got protected ammo. With these nice handy-dandy unit cards, it tells you it remounts on a 3+. Okay, so let's go with it. And they remount. Now, at this point, the Germans are back in the tank. Now, they can make some choices as to they can move, they can shoot. They are back in the game. Who's the bigger threat? At this point, the anti-tank value of the 3 Allied tanks, they're all the same. So the question comes down to is, if we're looking at the firepower, as I'm just reasoning out, how would it make a difference? The Grant is probably the bigger threat to deal with. Okay, so I'm not going to move. I am going to stand there. That's going to give me 2 shots at the Grant. Now the Grant is on a 4, gets hit on a 4. This is definitely within 16. So we're going to roll. And a 4 and a 6. So we got 2 hits. 2 hits on the Grant. So the Grant has to roll twice. And the front armor of the Grant is a 5 compared to the anti-tank of a 10. Ooh, okay. So here we go. We got a 6, and 5 is 11. It beats off the first shot. A 5 and a 4 and a 9 up against a 10. It penetrates. So now the Germans have to roll a firepower test to see if they destroy the Grant. If they fail the firepower test, then it's a bailout. Which still, that's not the best thing in the world. But at least it's a 3+. At least you can keep going. Let's see. And okay, the Grant is also now out of the game. So we have 1 British, 1 German down. So now we're at the British turn 2. Ooh, what do we do now? Well, this cruiser is going to stay where it is. This other cruiser is going to come swinging around. Let's see. 10 inches. I'm going to swing around. So I'm going to swing around to here. And we're going to go and take him out. Let's see if this can happen. So for this cruiser tank, we know we need to roll 2 dice. So we'll go with that. Ooh, a 1 and a 2? No, it doesn't hit. It needs 4s. Okay, it's up to this last Crusader here. Needs a 4. It hits on a 4. Now we got to talk about penetration. For the Crusader, it is an anti-tank of 9. The Panzer IV has a front value of 5. Remember, it's hitting the front, just like I said earlier. So the Germans, in order to shrug it off, they need at least a 4. They got a 3. 3 plus 5 is 8 on the Germans, an AT of 9 for the British. The British has penetrated. Here's the question. This could be the end of the game, right here. And then again, maybe not. It is a firepower of 4 plus. And if they make it, if they succeed in the firepower, game over. If not, the Panzer IV is bailed out. And we got a 1. The Germans are not out of the game yet. They are bailed out. And now, turn 2 has ended. We are now at turn 3. First thing the Germans need to do is to see if they can remount. And they are protected ammo. They need a 3 or better. They got a 6. They're back in the game. Oh, yeah. Let's see. What do they want to do? Well, I'm looking at the closest threat. I am going to move back as the Germans. I'll take that chance. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move back. I'm going to move out of the way here such that I only get the shot here at the British, at the Crusader, and that's it, ladies and gentlemen. So he's got the shot here at him. He rolls 1 die. It is a Crusader. It's aggressive, so he needs a 3 or better. No, he missed. It switches over to turn 3, bottom of turn 3. The Brits are at it again. So at this point here, we got choices. I'm going to go in. This Crusader is going to stay, but you know, the problem is if he goes, he's partly concealed by the building. So I'm going to have this guy, this Crusader is going to go up and basically turn here like this. And this guy is going to zip around. He's going to zip around to here and take a shot at him. So at this point now, both sides get to roll. So they need 4s to hit. So for the Crusader here with the commander up, missed. Other Crusader, missed. Okay, turn over, German turn 4. Wow, this is going to be a little bit of chasing around here. Okay, for the German, I would want to fall back to here, swing the turret, and take him out. Notice I'm behind the building, so that the other Crusader is going to have to move the following turn. I'm going to roll 1 dice to see if I hit him. I rolled a 5 to hit when he really needed a 3. Okay, the Brits roll their armor. It's a 1. 1 plus, let's see. 1 plus 4 is 5. No question. Now it's a firepower roll on the part of the Germans. They need a 3 or better. Boom! The second Crusader is out of the game, ladies and gentlemen. It's just a little bit off the table here. Let me move him. Yeah, he's out of the game. So now it's up to the last Crusader. Okay? And, wow, what can I say? What can the Crusaders say? I could move 10 inches and take a side shot. Maybe. Yeah, 10 inches, side shot. I'll take that. Now, there's concealment because the Panzer's half covered in the building. So I get to roll 1 dice. I'm going to need a 5 to hit. And I rolled a 4. Missed. German turn. Alright. German is going to swing around here. Let's see. German is going to swing around. Okay. German's going to swing around, bring him over to here, and take the shot. He needs a turn. Oh, gosh. All right. Moving on, so I'm going to go ahead, turn my body. I'm going to move a little closer. I'll take one shot. It'll be a frontal shot, needing a 4. Missed. German Panzer says, I'm going to stand there and shoot. This is the final end here, guys. Okay, this should be it. Okay, German Panzer. Okay, 1 hit and 1 miss. Let's see what the Crusader does. It's a 2 plus 4, 6. It penetrated. What does the German do? It needs a firepower 3 plus, and the game is over, ladies and gentlemen. It is over. The last Crusader has been taken out. The Germans win this. Wow, what a fight that was, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this. Okay? Well, again, this was made possible using the sets of the Alamein Starter set. This is the first game. And, yeah, it's quick and furious. I'm hoping to get some students interested in a game like this, you know? All right. I hope you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe.